ESG compost bin. I've used that joke so many times.
I think you've done that one before.
It's a Business Pants Friday show here at September 13th Lane Studios. Ooh, Friday the 13th, featuring only one of your favorites, Matt Moscardi. Yeah, Analyst Hole, Matt Moscardi. Woo.
Yeah, please. Give me my honorific.
On today's weekly wrap-up, ongoing drama at Boeing, AI Darth Vader, ooh, more AI, strawberry-flavored AI, and Adam Newman continues to fail. Yeah! Which means that people continue to back him financially. That's what it really means.
It always is the same story. Hooray!
Today's show is brought to you by freeflowanalytics.com. Everything you ever wanted to know about who runs public companies, all for free. That's a very short version of that copy. I don't like that one. It's too short, too brief.
Well, add to it. You keep complaining about it, but you don't do anything.
Let's get right to it. This is our Friday show where we cover the week. We look at the story of the week. We look at the goodliest story of the week, assholiest, exhaustingest, all the favorites.
Well, before we get into it, I want to tell you. I didn't tell you this yet.
Go ahead.
I'm playing.
Quitting?
For the first time in 20 years, in open mic night tonight.
Okay, so for those of you who live within 10 miles of Matt's home, which we're not going to disclose, show up at an undisclosed, I'm guessing, coffee shop.
If you live in central Connecticut, you can go to the coffee, it's like Coffee Stop in Simsbury. It'll be two like withering 40-plus-year-old dads, and a bunch of high school students. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Come check it out. 8 o'clock.
And what are you
tonight.
doing? Open mic? You're stand-up comedy?
No, it's music. I'm literally playing songs that I wrote 25 years ago. It's going to be the most pathetic sight. If you want,
good though.
If you want a touch of pathetic with your night, come and see it. So
won't
that's
be
how you
there.
should start your week. Friday the 13th. That's how you can end your week. Let's do the story.
Yeah, come on. I actually have 5 stories this week. I don't care. That's one more than I usually do, but I'm going to keep them pretty quick. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw fired for ethics violations, secret relationship.
Wow.
Alan Shaw out at Norfolk Southern.
Wow. The crowd is so shocked by that.
Fired for cause. Consensual relationship with the company's chief legal officer, Nabanita Nag. The new CEO is Mark George, the current CFO. So
here's the amazing part about this story.
Yeah.
Ancora, the activist investor who in the spring went after Norfolk Southern for effectively being terrible for years and years and years. Apparently, the news reporting on this, and I don't know how true this is, but if it is true, is they got wind of this relationship. How they got wind of the relationship is either through the board, because the board was doing an investigation or knew, or through employees, and therefore the board should have known. So now you're in a situation where for months, people have known that this is going on.
Not to mention that he was doing this under the umbrella of a very public proxy contest, a very public activist pressure. So it's probably the very wrong time to be lying to your board.
That would be the wrong time to do that. Not to mention, I don't know, infidelity, whatever. I don't know how to say this, except that it is a little bit cute that it kind of burgeoned during a train wreck, an actual train wreck.
According to reports, because they had to be together so often in East Palestine, Ohio, to deal with the after effects of the train wreck, they got to know each other a little bit better.
I kind of love that. It's so cute. It's like the beginning of a Disney story.
Except you're right, and a lot of the reports are indicating that they made it very obvious because they would not share. They would not stay in the same hotel as everybody else. They would go off to their own separate meals. They did all these things that would suggest that at least one member of the board knew what was going on.
I mean,
someone must have heard or tattled or something.
I'm just waiting for Disney to option this as a story at some point.
It's one I won't be watching. Next story of the week: Boeing, always in the news. Boeing, our favorite company, Boeing.
Oh, another one.
This one makes my head spin. On Tuesday, Matt, on our Good Game show, we reported that basically they had created a contract with workers that was the Business News was calling a huge victory for the new CEO Kelly Ortberg. Calling it an amazing contract. Now, as of Friday morning, the headline is that Boeing factory workers strike for first time since 2008 after overwhelmingly rejecting contract. Now, I don't think that headline is actually accurate. So what they've done is they've voted 95% of the workers voted to reject the contract, which included a 25% pay rise, and 96% voted to authorize a strike, but I don't think they've gone on strike yet.
They haven't gone on strike.
I think it's a negotiation tactic, a good one, which is that, hey, if you don't go back to the drawing table, we're gonna go on strike.
I just like that. Like the Business News reported that it was a major victory.
Yeah.
That Ortberg handed the contract to them, and then the union read the contract and said
95%. That's like a director vote.
This is so bad that all of us hate it. You managed to make all of us upset.
Because a lot of the votes we've seen recently, especially with the UAW, they've been pretty close votes. This is a whitewash. This is
what
bad
this is?
Contract, obviously.
Know what this is? This is the average average four vote for a director in the United States. 96%.
It also represents yet another reason why corporate governance is so important. That appointing Dave Calhoun as CEO after these incredibly tragic events, having him oversee this terrible safety culture, just not taking it seriously that you needed new blood on your board. This is what happens in that. Your labor force, your union realizes that we have an incredible amount of leverage right now because you guys suck, and we're going to basically do what we want, right?
Yeah. And make no mistake,
because you need us, or this company's going to blow up. You need us.
This is Dave Calhoun's watch. This isn't Ortberg's fault. This is the extension of the dude who quit when he felt like it.
This is real leverage.
Investors paid this guy on the way out. As he's walking out the door, he's got a barrel of money, and he's saying thank you. What has happened since? They're authorizing strikes, planes still falling out of the sky. No one wants to work with them.
And again, we warned you for years that the culture, by appointing Dave Calhoun, the culture had not changed. You had actually not addressed any problems.
Yes.
That's the second story of the week. Third story, that big shakeup at Southwest Airlines. So Elliott Management. Is that what they're called? Elliott Management. Elliott activists? What are they called?
Elliott Management. Elliott. Just the Elliott's investment.
They've been fighting for Southwest for a while to change a lot. So the big news is that 6 directors are stepping down, including 6 directors and executive chair Gary Kelly will all be stepping down. That's a lot. That's a big shakeup. We don't know the names of the 4 new directors who will be joining in November, but that's a big deal. A lot going on. And you know what? According to our data, that represents 62% of total influence. Data that you can only get at freeflowanalytics.com, which is actually free right now.
It's free. You can just sign in and you can see it. But I think it's fabulous. I'm a little sad that it kills our Southwest case study that we send to clients.
I don't agree with you. This with Boeing, with Norfolk Southern, this is like all of our talking points, right?
It really has been a banner year for Free Float calling it
because unlike Jeffrey Sonnenfeld, who pleaded with the masses to keep Alan Shaw, we were right on the side with Anchor Holdings. We gave a slew of evidence of why actually Alan Shaw should be out and the board should be overturned. It just happened in a different way than we predicted. That's all.
Well, we said that we wanted to remind investors that they don't have to put the CEO on the board. That's
exactly.
You can fire him from the board and keep him as the CEO, and therefore you have an independent body overseeing the CEO. That was our recommendation.
That's what we recommended, yeah.
And turns out, if there was an independent body overseeing Alan Shaw,
he would have already been gone.
He would have been gone months ago.
It's true, actually. Yeah, it's probably the fact that he was controlling the board is the reason why the board was inactive in identifying this relationship.
They must have known. I mean, I know we're back up to story number one.
Of course they know.
But they must have known when Ancora got seats on the board that they were just going to have to fire him, and they were just waiting for a time. They must have known, right?
I'm guessing gossip at that level is the first thing that they titter and teeter about in their meeting. They must love gossip like this in boardrooms. I'm sorry, they love it.
It's the only entertaining thing that happens.
The fourth big story, which doesn't seem as big after all those other stories, but I wanted to include it because it is a sizable chunk. Apple has to pay Ireland $14 billion essentially for back taxes. But you know what? If I did my math right, it roughly represents 3% of the GDP of Ireland. That's a big deal.
Holy moly!
Right?
I think
their GDP is roughly like 500 billion. I mean, so this is a pretty big win for Ireland. This is a lot of cash.
I mean, how many years of back taxes is that? So really, what you should be thinking is Apple may have robbed Ireland of 3% of their GDP by not paying taxes that they should have.
And finally, I included this one for you. Maybe this should have been a good list, but I couldn't not include this one. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese of Australian Prime Minister, announced a plan to introduce legislation into Parliament to block children from social media and other digital platforms until the age of 14 or 16 or
That's
roughly.
Lovely.
This seems like a huge deal. How they're actually going to control this, how they're going to verify for age, I don't know. But essentially, Australia, in a nutshell, Matt, they want to ban children from social media.
You know what? Let the people cheer. Let the people have
I love this.
But here's the problem.
Yeah.
First of all, it's just introduced. And it's
Okay.
not passed. And second of all,
but this stuff is coming. This is coming.
Second of all, all of the social media sites say they already comply by having a minimum age you're supposed to sign up for, and then they just
yes
let
or no button.
7-year-olds on it.
It's kind of like when I go to a vodka website and it just asks me to input my age manually.
This is all about the enforcement of it, not
is.
the thing. It gives them the ability.
Changes
to
are coming though. France, I know, is piloting a program to ban smartphones from all school students. So the changes are coming.
I love that. I'm behind that. Why is that not here? That should be the
backlash is slow. So those are my 5 big stories.
All right, so we got Norfolk Southern CEO fired.
Alan
Shaw fired. Kelly Ortberg gets his first big loss in a union voting for a strike. Southwest board loses 6 members. I mean, they were mostly dead anyway, weren't they? I mean, they were like 85 years old.
Here's some of the ages of the people leaving: 77, 77, 77, 80, and 69. Someone's 57, but that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of people that we've been complaining about for years. Like, why are they still here?
They're
what are we
nearing
doing?
They're nearing their actuarial table mortality rates. And Apple's paying 3% of GDP back to Ireland, and Australia plans to ban children.
I know. You can forget that one.
Plans.
I just wanted to talk about that one. You can forget that one.
Look, the Boeing strike is going to be a big deal if it happens. Now, it's live and happening now, so they may have already struck. It's going to change, but that's a big story, especially if they walk off, because Boeing cannot afford it. They already can't. They already haven't sent a plane out in a million years because they can't build them because they stink at that. And now there's no one to work on the planes. That's even worse. That said, this comes down to Norfolk Southern or Southwest to me. I've never seen an agreement at a company before it went to a proxy contest where 6 directors resign within the next 2 months, or a company like Norfolk Southern, which everybody knew they stunk, voted for Alan Shaw to stay, and now he's out. Right? Mm-hmm. I am going to go. Much as I'd like to harp on the Norfolk Southern thing, I'm going to go with Southwest, and I'm going to go with Southwest because I find Norfolk Southern mildly cute, even though I shouldn't.
I'm going to enter. I got 2 things to add here. First of all, according to CNBC, 30,000 Boeing workers actually did walk off the job early Friday. So the strike has happened. There's already a work stoppage. That was fast. And second of all, to add to the Norfolk Southern story, I'm gonna enter a little ESG conspiracy theory here.
Ooh, I like this.
Remember we talked about for a long time, why the hell did Jeffrey Sonnenfeld suddenly come out with a 90-page report supporting the CEO, Alan Shaw? No one could figure it out. In fact, even Anchor
You're wearing
Holdings,
a tinfoil hat right now, right? That's what
even
we're doing.
Anchor Holdings itself filed in their proxy code that they made filings saying why, like who's paying for this? What are you doing? And of course, we never heard again from Jeffrey Sonnenfeld of where this. Because I think the idea was like Norfolk Southern or management clearly paid for this report. Why are you doing this?
Or Alan Shaw shows up to Jeffrey Sonnenfeld's class from time to time, and it's important to keep good. It could be
okay. So here's where the conspiracy theory is. Alan Shaw knows he's in trouble. He knows he's breaking company law. He's having an affair with the chief legal officer, and he's like, "Hey, Jeff, I kind of need some help right now. Kind of struggling. Why don't you throw a big report in my favor? Help me out. Throw me a bone. I need to get through this. If I can get through this activist campaign, maybe I can keep my job because I got the boards all on my side. They're all my buddies. Maybe I can get them to have me keep my job, even though I'm having an affair with the chief legal officer. That's my theory.
That was the
but if
sound
I'm
of my
wrong,
head popping.
Jeffrey Sonnenfeld, reach out and tell us, like, what is the story? Like, where did this report come from?
I don't think he will. I don't.
All right. So that's the story of the week. Southwest shakeup, again, representing 62% of total influence, which is significant. So that's it.
All right. Let's do something else. We now have.
Why don't we go to Goodliest?
Let's do Goodliest.
And then we'll go to Exhaustingest.
All right. So Goodliest, I got 3 quick headlines for you.
Go for it.
Number 1, Hasbro CEO. Now remember, Hasbro was in the Goodliest last week.
Yeah, didn't you already mention Hasbro? D&D, something to do with autism?
Yeah, in fact, the thing I said about Hasbro last week was Hasbro becomes a healthcare company because Dungeons & Dragons was shown through a study to actually help kids with autism. Well, this week...
which is, to me, way better than like shoving pills in your kids' faces. I like that more.
This week they might have undermined that now that I think about it. But I somehow still like this for myself. Yeah. I like this for myself. Hasbro CEO says AI will become core part of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, here's what might be one of the few areas of AI which I'm okay with.
That's what I mean.
Which is coming up with, like, a lot of us. I know times have changed, but when a lot of us were younger, and sometimes like we're playing a board game with friends, maybe we didn't have a 4th person to sit at the board, right? Yeah. I think that's a perfect use of AI. Let them play board games with your children, or you know what I mean? Like that could be a nice thing. I mean,
the social aspect is the thing that was helping the kids with autism.
I'm not suggesting it's the only friend. I'm suggesting it could be an extra friend.
Offering this means that 45-year-old loser dads like me can play Dungeons and Dragons again because I don't have friends anymore. I've just got kids and like no time.
Oh, so you're gonna send the AI to the coffee house tonight to sing for you, and you're gonna stay home and play D&D by yourself?
That's an idea. That's not your worst idea.
All right,
number
that's
2,
a good story. Yeah.
American Airlines flight attendants ratify new contract with immediate raises topping 20%. Now, this
proves what leverage means at Boeing, right? Because they rejected 25%.
This is an honorary Ari Goodliest. If it's a labor thing and there's a contract involved,
that's good.
She's in it.
I like it.
So, like I was looking for batteries and labor stories, and this is
I don't like batteries. I don't care.
And last, the second greatest use of AI outside of Dungeons and Dragons in my mind.
Yes.
Before he died, James Earl Jones signed paperwork to voice Darth Vader using AI.
Okay. That's nice for his family, right? More money for his family.
I mean, I don't know anything about the money. I don't know if they ripped him off.
Well, he's dead. He's not going to get the money, Matt. You know how that works, right?
What I know is that these are acceptable uses of AI. This to me is what it's
2 things
should be used for.
I read that James Earl Jones got $7,000 for Star Wars, but I'm sure he got more money as the franchise went on. But he got $7,000 for his first role as Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think his first licensing deal made up for it, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the second thing is, I don't know much about Star Wars anymore. Is the franchise? Like I was kind of out with Return of the Jedi. Is Darth Vader still a part of every Star Wars movie?
Yeah, he was in the Mandalorian. Like he was in he was like they bring him back. He was in the new movie where they had a vision. So yeah, you can.
I don't know.
Honestly, mostly what they use
Yeah.
his voice for is video games. That's
Okay.
and there's a ton of money in just.
I guess this is cool. Like I don't know why you couldn't find an actor to do the dumb voice, but whatever. I guess
Have
this
you
is
heard
cool.
his voice?
I
Nobody
like
can
it.
do that voice.
I don't know if that's true.
He's got a singular voice. Like Morgan Freeman has a singular voice. Like Matthew McConaughey
I
has a
know,
singular
but
voice.
I guess I don't care. I guess I don't really care.
Oh, there we go. Now we're correct.
I mean, but you're right though. This is one of the acceptable uses of AI. I'll give you.
So now
this.
I've got basically my 3 good lists are 2 acceptable uses of AI as Dungeons and Dragons and Darth Vader, and 1 ratification of a massive contract for real people.
And thank God Sam Altman was not involved because Sam Altman would have just stolen his voice.
yeah.
So,
ScarJo.
So hats off to Disney for actually like paying the family some money. I don't want to be boring. I don't want to take the boring one, which is American Airlines.
Yeah, that is boring.
You know what? I'm gonna vote for. I just like this idea in general of like other types of companies being part of the healthcare industry. I loved your report earlier this week about how Hasbro should be considered a healthcare company, right? Because saying that,
they help autistic kids when
Right.
they play a game. Yeah.
so I'm just gonna vote for the Hasbro store just because I just like this train of thought that
you know what?
you have.
That's not only correct, it's fueling my desire to go back to being 12.
Yeah. That's it. That's good news of the week.
Let's do
Hasbro's.
exhaustingest.
And can
You
I
ready
just
for
say,
that?
before we go over, is that I think I might start a new stat, but the stat being, do business news headlines ever name the CEO? So far, the answer is no, because we have Norfolk Southern CEO, Boeing CEO, Southwest CEO, Hasbro CEO. They never give you the names of these stupid people.
We don't care about those people.
Why?
People
Why
matter.
don't we care? Why?
People don't matter unless they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Then we can replace them with
Yeah.
AI. That's it. Yeah. On to exhaustingness.
Let's keep it rolling.
That's a nice segue.
I feel like we can get this show done in less than 2 hours today. Exhausting is the week with me. I'm channeling the great Jesse the Money Whisperer here. I'm really not. I just picked 3 stories that exhaust me. But I'm honoring her and her new baby. Adam Newman, back in the news. You mentioned failure at some point.
So we did a proxy countdown in which we talked about the Darden Restaurants board.
Oh, yeah, a bunch of
and
failure.
recognized the fact that these are
Failure
basically
munchers.
9 people who just are fail adjacent or failure artists.
So, speaking of which, Adam Newman, here's the headline. Adam Newman's climate startup is quietly refunding investors after failing to launch a crypto token. So he's
There
doing it
it
again,
is.
Matt.
You know what? This isn't exhausting because at least investors got their money back this time. And
whatever.
he didn't get it.
What I'm exhausted is just the who VC gives its capital to.
Yeah,
is basically what I'm
correct.
exhausted about.
Why do we keep giving that guy money?
WeWork, one of the most famous collapses in corporate American history. That should be it. That's it. You're done. I don't care.
You know what?
Like, good luck to you, Adam. And in
Matt
fact, you
Levine-
walked away with a lot of money, but we're not going to support you anymore. I
Matt
mean,
Levine has this whole theory that if you lost $1 billion, it doesn't say that you failed. It says that someone trusted you with $1 billion.
Yeah.
And that's just the whole theory. And that's
but
the
it's
thing
true,
with
though.
Adam
He's
Newman.
right. He's right.
And the fact is, people look at him and they're like, that guy took $1 billion and did something. That he failed is not the point. It's that he knows how to manage it. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Stop
Yeah,
it.
it's founder fetish, and it's stupid. You're right. The next exhausting story of the week, back to Boeing. I just don't like the way sometimes, again, we're not naming the person here, but it's Kelly Ortberg. Boeing boss tells workers strike would put recovery in jeopardy. You know what? Put the company in jeopardy? It was company management and the board of directors. It's not the workers who are threatening a strike. They're not putting anything in jeopardy here. That's not how this timeline actually works.
You know what, Kelly? Learn from past mistakes. Try 13 years of mismanagement in 25 or 30 years of misallocated human capital. Nice try.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Your threat didn't actually work because they
no
actually
one
went on
cares.
strike this morning. That's the second one that exhausts me. The third one is just I don't know what to call this. Just the racism. This is racism. Can racism exhaust me? Am I allowed to say that? Because it does.
I'm pretty sure
It's exhausted me my
you
whole
can,
effing life.
Yeah.
Here's the latest headline. Activist investor kicks DEI obsessed Southwest Airlines leadership to the curb. So Matt, there's some asshole out there who is recharacterizing this story as the reason why they're failing, and what they're really doing here is that they're targeting the DEI members of Southwest Airlines. That's the failure here, right? It's not, has nothing to do with anything else. And here's some of the information from this article. They say that the prevalence of DEI initiatives across the airline industry has drawn scrutiny following a high number of high-profile mishaps, and in the case of Boeing, deadly crashes. See what they're doing?
Yeah.
They're conflating DEI practices with deadly plane crashes. See that
you know
racism?
what you did? You know what you did here in that quote? You didn't. There was there was a link in that quote with the word scrutiny, and when you click the link, it's the same publisher who put out this story, linking to their own story, just saying that's what's happening. That's right. The drawn scrutiny.
You're
it's
right.
All like an echo chamber.
And the next one is a quote from a racist American Airlines pilot, just one pilot, who says, if you're looking for a diverse workforce and not a qualified workforce, you've got issues.
Okay, yeah.
Again, we're into the Donald Trump, J.D. Vance world of racism, and you're right, it's one horrible racist pilot, But to be fair to me, my news feed picks up these stories. Like, I'm getting these stories.
Fair to you, that's what I'm worried about.
So I'm just tired of the horrible racism that I'll call it the Vivek Ramaswamy version of racism, which is conflating diversity with merit. You know, it's full of shit. It's horrible. It's ugly. Stop it.
I did so one of the things they talk about in this article, because I almost chose this as I thought about choosing it for assholiest, but then I thought about choosing it as goodliest because it was funny.
That's not the right use of goodliest.
But the one of the things they quote is the fact that Southwest had set a goal to double the diversity of its executive leadership, and they're citing that as a reason why Southwest is failing. Now, first of all, it ignores the fact that for the last 20 years, the people sitting on the board have not been diverse, right? So all of their failures happened under the non-diverse watch.
And those are the people leaving. I think I looked at it. I think out of the 7 people leaving, there is one black woman, but it's 6 old white guys.
6 old white guys.
Maybe an old woman, white woman.
Literally everything that they're complaining about happened because it was old white guys in charge. Second of all, the number that they're doubling, they have 70 people in. I went through the report. They have 70 people in the executive leadership team. Of them, 10 are diverse. Yeah. And the number they're doubling doesn't even get them to represent the country in terms of like the talent pool. Well, so what are we talking about? This is brilliantly stupid.
I want to also point out on the proxy countdown that we're going to release this week, you had this brilliant thought to draft a new board at Darden Restaurants, because the current board doesn't seem to have the skill set, right, that should be at a Darden Restaurants. And all you were doing is focusing on core key skill sets for the board of Darden and high-performing directors according to our metrics that have absolutely nothing to do with demographics.
I didn't look at one demographic.
Nothing to do with race, gender, nothing. Harvard, none of that.
Nothing.
And here's what you picked is 3 women, 3 men, 3 white women, 3 white men, an Asian director, a black director, and somebody else, maybe a Latino director. So again, merit, diversity. They have stop.
There's
stop.
There
doing
is.
This. Stop
they
it.
aren't inversely correlated.
No,
jackasses.
Stop. And finally, I have to do this. I have to do this every week.
No, you don't. I can see the production note. You do not have to do this.
Until Tesla shareholders, until Tesla stakeholders, that includes customers,
you don't have to
until the Tesla board finally wises up and gets rid of this complete, absolute, horrible excuse for a human being. I'm going to keep harping on it. I'm just going to give you one headline. Elon Musk threatens to impregnate Taylor Swift. So this asshole basically said that he was going to put a baby into Taylor Swift in response to her endorsing Kamala Harris for president. Come on. Sure, really, board members.
I'm not voting for Elon Musk.
Okay, you don't have to vote for it, but I'm going to repeat this every week. Shareholders, board members, stakeholders, enough with this guy. Get rid of him, please.
Part
Get
of the
rid him.
reason why
Get
he
rid of
keeps
him.
tweeting this stuff is he gets oxygen from the attention. And if
Well, it's his company too. He's tweeting on his own platform.
But if you ignore, he doesn't say anything.
Why should
interesting.
we? But why should we ignore him? Why?
Because
Why?
it's the job of the board to kick him out and investors to say that guy needs to shut up.
Well,
But other than that,
to be
I
fair to-
shouldn't generate 600 headlines a day.
But to be fair to Alan Shaw, who is having a consensual relationship with the chief legal officer who's fired for that, I think you should be fired for this kind of rhetoric when you're running a publicly
He
traded
should have
company.
been fired literally 300 times since.
All right.
But
What's your
the
vote
fact
for
is,
exhausting of the week? Yeah.
The fact is, do we remember when Trump got kicked off of social media for the most part and how quiet and nice it was? Because all the headlines just were, what did he say today? And that's what Musk is. It's the exact same thing.
Well,
and he gets his, it's like
Look,
the Simpsons thing where they get their power because you're looking at them. Like, just
look
away.
I'm
Do something else.
only reporting this because he still is one of the more powerful directors and CEOs in our database. Once they get him off that board, we don't have to cover him anymore because he just runs privately held companies.
I'm hoping Catherine McCormick in Delaware Chancery Court doesn't pay him, says that shareholder vote is null and void.
What's your vote?
My vote, all right, so there's four options here. Adam Newman returned money but got money. Boeing's boss blames the workers. DEI-obsessed Southwest Airlines leadership has been the problem, and Elon Musk threatens to impregnate Taylor Swift.
I wish you hadn't said that out loud again. I didn't want to
yeah, well, you made me because I have to do a summary. Yeah. I am going with Boeing boss tells workers strike would put...
Wait, so it's not their fault?
It's exhausting that we just keep... when the workers basically stand up and say, okay, that's enough. Then everyone says, oh, if you guys, it's one thing if management wants to reorg, shake up the company. We want to create a culture that's terrible. We want to create a culture. That's up to us. But if you guys say anything, you're going to destroy the company.
Let's not forget
it's your fault.
Another thing that we've reported on a lot is that it's not like Dave Calhoun's pay suffered. I mean, and there's been no suggestion that they're going to claw that money back. So I'm going with
that
he's been
one.
getting raises. All right,
I'm tired of that.
let's do assholiest. Come on.
Yeah, that's me. I'm surprisingly quick today, though.
We're not really that quick. We're still 32 minutes here.
All right.
Your segment tends to be
data.
7 hours. Yeah.
First headline, OpenAI launching strawberry model with human-like reasoning as soon as this week.
Yeah, I saw this headline. What does that mean?
All right. Well, here's the part that I found assholey.
Yeah.
This is a quote from their website. Quote, we founded the OpenAI nonprofit in late 2015 with the goal of building safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence for the benefit of humanity. A project like this might previously have been the provenance of one or multiple governments, a humanity-scale endeavor pursuing broad benefit for humankind.
Yeah.
And then they go on to say, quote, we always suspected that our project would be capital intensive, which is why we launched with the goal of $1 billion in donation commitments. Yet over the years, OpenAI's nonprofit received approximately $130.5 million in total donations. So they set a target of $1 billion. They got $130 million.
Okay.
It became increasingly clear that donations alone would not scale the cost of computational power and talent required to push core research forward, jeopardizing our mission.
Uh-oh.
Here is the problem. Here are clues that humanity didn't ask for this.
That's the part I giggled about when you said for the benefit of humankind, for humankind.
We've been spent so much time talking about the nonprofit and its mission was supposed to be protecting humanity from AI and for the benefit of humanity. Humanity did not want this literally at all.
Still doesn't want it.
There are tech bro Jesus complex assholes here that set the goal of for the benefit of humanity. That goal was set by Sam Altman and Elon Musk. They set a target of donations and then got none. 100 million of that 130 million came from Musk himself, and the rest came from Reid Hoffman and a couple other tech bros. So basically, what we're talking about is their pivot from nonprofit to profit now, and they're doing this thing of human-like reasoning and general intelligence. No one asked for it.
I mean, it really
one in the humanity part of the benefit for humanity wanted this
to put
at
this
all.
to put this in the context of the presidential election, the only thing that's polling worse than Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is probably AI.
It's unbelievable to me.
Nobody likes him or it.
Unfathomable to me how much of a gaslight the nonprofit of OpenAI has been. Every time we talk about it, when the two women on the board fought to get rid of Sam Altman, and then they got ousted and replaced with Larry Summers and Brett Taylor of like endless tech broism. When it was founded, they set a goal of $1 billion in donations, got 130 million, because what happened was literally no one in humanity wanted artificial intelligence for humanity. Only the tech pros wanted this. They're the only ones who wanted to benefit from this because they knew they'd make all the money from it. I don't understand why we even like have a conversation as if that this is what this company's supposed to do and they're breaking it. What they were supposed to do was what they set out to do, which is get money for themselves, making artificial. It was some like mad science gone wild. It was like Frankenstein-y stuff, and it's tech bros being tech bros. Break it and ask for like forgiveness later.
Look, I mean, one of the actual brain behind this company and the one who did still wants to keep it not for profit is already gone. That's co-founder Ilya Sutskever. Is that his name? He's already starting a new company. I mean, he's already out.
But even that fact to me, it's like he's going to start a new company to what? Have war with this company? Like go to war with this company?
No,
underlying fact is I don't want AI. I don't want
I'm
it.
with you on that one.
It doesn't make my life better.
No, I think he left to preserve the non-for-profit nature of it. But yeah, I hear you.
Like what I want is more trees and birds. I want clean water. I want food. I want like to light a fire and not worry that I'm going to get bombed. AI solves literally nothing I want to solve. It solves made up problems like what I can't do a calendar entry fast enough, so I'm going to talk to AI to make a calendar entry for me. It solves computational problems that do what for the benefit of me or anyone else that we know. Like it makes no sense. I hate it. I hate it, and everyone involved in it are assholes. All the hype artists, all the people who started it, I hate them all. So that's number one.
So number one is basically AI.
It's basically AI and the narrative around AI.
Okay. That
number
seems
two.
Like an easy vote. Yeah, what else you got? Assholiest.
Investors in Norfolk Southern. I think that one kind of speaks for itself.
Why? Because of how they voted during the proxy contest?
They voted for Alan Shaw to stay on the board.
Yeah.
Can one of you, this is now
yeah.
This is now the third time. So just in the last year, we had Musk's repay vote, which everyone was okay with for some reason, and the board. They re-elected Kimball Musk.
All right, say no more. I got you.
Boeing's board vote and the Norfolk Southern board vote. Now, at least Ancora won.
Yeah, investors. You have investors every week as assholes, just like I have Elon Musk every week on exhausting us.
But now is when they are shown to have been assholes because now we're literally axing the CEO 4 months after the proxy contest.
What else?
And then here's my last one. Here's the headline. Deere settles U.S. SEC bribery probe into massage parlor, other gifts in Thailand.
So this is the suddenly anti-DEI Deere.
Where's Robbie Starbuck now?
Yeah,
Robbie Starbuck is blaming everything on DEI.
Yeah, he must be a big Christian warrior, Robbie Starbuck, right? This doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound good.
The fact is, DEI and ESG, these things that you hate, are the things that actually matter to running the company. Like they're the human components of this company.
Ultimately help prevent things like this because they're interested in things like corporate governance, right?
Like accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah. It's a little weird. So Deere and Robbie Starbuck, you DEI U-turning assholes. While you're rolling back your DEI policies, feel free to pay off your clients by sending them to massage parlors in Thailand. Those are your three.
Three assholes: AI in general, investors in general, and Deer. Look, I'm gonna pull an old trick on this vote because I think the AI and the investor ones are evergreen. They're ongoing. We'll continue to hate on them.
Yeah, that's true. But
when I saw this Deer headline, it did strike me. I did get momentarily angry because it's like, wait a minute, like, are you serious? I mean, you're. The hypocrisy, the what you're focusing on, what you're spending on money on rolling back DEI programs, and this is your priority right now. Like you're choosing racism over what are you doing?
So the fine here was $9 million, but meanwhile, how many headlines about this did you see relative to the amount of headlines about the DEI rollbacks?
And you know what? Hats off to Reuters on this one because a lot of the headlines that covered this didn't actually go into details about the fact that it was a probe into a massage parlor in Thailand. Like they hid that part. A lot of the headlines, just saying, "Oh, it's a, it's a small fine, the SEC. What do they know? They're a bunch of leftists. Yeah.
Ethics, whatever, man."
So that's my vote. That's my vote for assholiest of the week.
Let's do headline.
Headline is. Do we have too many categories?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I'm gonna start this one because I just loved it, and the context for this choice is Elon Musk.
Oh,
okay?
God, why?
Because we always complain about how stupid investors and shareholders are for keeping on this guy who's not only a virulent misogynist and racist and just asshole and maybe bad at what he does, but
yeah, that's true.
Except for the fact that yes, he controls He controls a meme stock that seems to go up sometimes, but that's not the whole point of a corporation. Not just one. It's not just your share price. But anyway. We try to push him out for thousands of different corporate governance reasons, including that he's the CEO at 17 other places. He's clearly not a full-time CEO at Tesla. I mean, we know that's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But here's the headline. Tennis Channel ousts CEO citing time spent advising Dr. Phil.
What? Really?
That's the only reason they needed is that he was spending too much time advising Dr. Phil.
Wow.
That's according to the Wall Street Journal. That's all it took for them to fire him.
When we're looking at the Tennis Channel as a source of corporate governance, that's not a great sign. Mine is much lower brow than that.
Yeah.
My headline is, "It takes only one Cheetos bag to have world-changing impact on an ecosystem," National Park says.
Yeah, I was going to pick this one, actually. It depressed me too much, so I couldn't.
I don't want to tell the National Park, but it actually takes a lot
littering
more
in
than
a cave?
one.
Why would you litter? And why do you even need Cheetos on a walk through a cave?
Really, everything about this is wrong.
Yeah.
It takes more than one. Who eats Cheetos anymore? The National
Park on a walking tour.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Who litters in a national park? I don't even understand that part.
Can you imagine?
And then who's the national park saying this to? I don't. All of it is.
I'm watching the show Mad Men. There's a great scene. It takes place in the early '60s. Really, and part of what's wonderful about the show is just pointing out the cultural differences between then and now. There's a great scene where Don Draper's family is enjoying a picnic on the side of the road. A beautiful lookout. They have this big spread. They have this, with all the fixins, all the plastic that goes with a big takeout meal. And when they're talking about the beautiful country and the view, and they're like, "Oh, this is wonderful. We should do this more often." And then when they're done with the meal, they get up and they go into the car and they drive away, leaving all of the plastic litter because that's what people used to do. They didn't care. But you know what? Now we know that you don't leave Cheeto bags in a cave.
In a cave. Yeah. In a cave with caveman drawings.
Yeah, it's not Mad Men anymore, so get over it. All right.
And no one wins because they're both stupid.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Winners and predictions. That's what we're on.
Mine's easy. For winners, mine's easy, and it speaks to this historical moment of leverage for the union at Boeing, which is coming off of 10 years of corporate governance failure. They realize that they have so much power that 96% of them vote to authorize a strike. So I'm going to say Boeing workers are winners because I think that Kelly Ortberg. I think they're going to come back pretty quickly and solve that. I mean,
Oh, they have to.
This is not going to be a Mary Barrett GM situation, right? They're not going to lose billions of dollars just like twiddling their thumbs, right?
No, I think they're going to
fix
to.
this.
They've already lost billions of dollars, like breaking
your
their
winner?
planes. I got two winners. The first one is Ancora. I think it's obvious that Ancora is the big winner.
It's a kind of a backdoor victory, yeah.
I mean, but it's a win. It's
Still
a win.
a win.
No matter, they were right about everything,
In
right?
us,
Like,
to us.
The second winner is Adam Newman, actually.
Okay, well, he's a constant winner, really, if you think about it.
Well, look, there's nothing that can better help your standing than giving the money back to investors. Now they're going to start to think of him as not a failure. He's the guy who gave them their money back this time. So he's a big winner. I think that makes him a winner.
Predictions
for the week. All right.
You go first. I have a longer one.
I have a prediction that if you listen to the Proxy Countdown, which is our other show, I did a whole board draft, like you said. Drafted new board members.
Darden Restaurants is actually quite brilliant, yeah. Quite
Darden
serious
Restaurants.
and good, yeah.
I think in the next 12 months, we see our first board trade.
Oh, God, I hope so.
A real trade in which two companies announce that the directors are swapping from one company to the other.
This. Why wouldn't this happen?
I don't know, but I think it's inevitable. I don't know why we don't do it, and
we're gonna keep
solve a ton
talking
of
about
problems.
it.
Like, what director would be upset? They still have the director job. It's a great job. Like, you get a buyout,
new friends,
like equity matching.
expand your network.
You expand your network.
You can go to a different
cred. Yeah, you keep going.
Still with us? All right. My prediction. Okay, I don't have a prediction. I just glow. I'm just gloating. I want to glow. I think this is the first time any of my predictions remotely came true. So here's my prediction from just last week. Okay, I'm going to quote myself. Volkswagen responds to the trial of former CEO Martin Winterkorn by laying off 10% of its global workforce and reducing its commitment to EV manufacturing. And here's the headline from Wednesday. This is Wednesday, 2 days ago. Volkswagen scraps decades-old job guarantees, paving way for layoffs. Come on.
Wow.
I got something right.
Be proud.
It's not a happy victory.
It's not a happy prediction. Yeah. That's all we got. That's Hazelnut Rawless. I'm your analyst, Paul Matt Muscardi. We are free float. If you like whatever this show is.
Yeah, what is this? What are we doing?
I don't know. But if you don't, actually, it's better if you don't like the show, go get our other show, Proxy Countdown. It's like a serious show, a lot of analysis. But you know what you can also get now? We have another Free Float Media show. It's called Cheryl.
It's not even us, thank God. Not us.
It's not us.
Yay.
It's Mike Levin and Ann Lipton, and they are geniuses. In fact, more people have already reached out to me saying their show is great than even asking us about our shows. So
they already have probably a bigger audience, which is fine. We're not in competition.
I am going to quietly brood about it, but it's totally fine.
That's okay. You're allowed to brood about it.
That's all we got. Come back next week. Until then, goodbye.